Alright, hello again, ghouls and goblins, and welcome back to the channel. Today's not so spooky adventure brings us to the Puente Hills Mall in Southern California. And if you're a fan of retro movies, you'll know that this is where a lot of scenes from Back to the Future were filmed. However, it's kind of sad because this mall is a staple for pop culture. However, it's a dying mall, and it's probably not going to be much longer until this mall is probably closing its doors and it's probably going to be torn to the ground. Now, I don't think you've ever been here before, right?
I've never been here before, so this is a first for me.
But you've seen Back to the Future.
I have.
So we're going to look around today, the Puente Hills Mall, and some of the Back to the Future filming locations. So join us.
If you dare.
1, 2, spooky fun. BlackHearts Club. Spooky fun. BlackHearts Club.
So here's the main entrance for I'm going to refer to it from this point on as the Twin Pines Mall, because that's what it is in Back to the Future. However, that's not the real name for it. The real name is the Puente Hills Mall, but in the movie, of course, it's the Twin Pines Mall. And you'll recognize this main entrance back here that said Twin Pines Mall from the 1985 Back to the Future movie. Now, however, over here, where you see this 24-hour fitness now, that was the anchor store JCPenney that you would see in the distance when Marty McFly and Doc Brown met up in the parking lot to do their first time travel and to travel back to 1955. Now, they do not have the sign that sits in the parking lot that said Twin Pines Mall. However, I do believe that the Twin Pines Mall clock sign is inside the mall to represent this being the Back to the Future Mall. But it would be over here in this general area of the parking lot somewhere that at approximately around 1:16, Marty McFly and Doc Brown would try to do time travel in the DeLorean. I would say probably right here in this general area in 1985. The DeLorean was parked somewhere in one of these parking spots because, again, the 24-hour fitness was JCPenney, and you would see the main entrance over here for the Twin Pines Mall. It's kind of really sad that this mall is on life support and is becoming a dying, dead mall. It should really be preserved because it's definitely part of Hollywood movie history. But we're going to go inside and see exactly how bad this mall has become. Now, yeah, it was called the Twin Pines Mall in the movie, but of course later on became the Lone Pine Mall because we know that when Marty traveled back in time to 1955, he landed in Old Man Peabody's field and knocked down one of the twin pine trees. So when he came back in 1985, it was no longer called the Twin Pines Mall because he knocked down one of the pine trees. So now it was referred to as the Lone Pine Mall. And you can already see right there, one of the anchor stores has already closed. Now, I'm not from the area, so I'm sure that this anchor store has changed hands and names many times since 1985. So if you know what it recently was and last was, please sound off in the comments below. And you can see they're not really taking the best care of this mall. You can see that the paint is coming off the top up here. It could definitely use a good pressure washing. I would say in probably 10 years max, this mall is going to be completely abandoned. Here's a perfect example of the shape this mall is in. You can see how terrible the doors are starting to look. There is a guy over there cleaning them right now, so I don't think cleaning them is going to do a lot of good though, because they're looking a little worse for wear. So let's go inside. So the escalators are still working, but the question is where are you going to shop in here? Because it doesn't seem like there's many retail stores even still in business around here. There's a restaurant here. I don't know if it's closed because of, as it's filming, it's a Sunday. So maybe this restaurant is just closed for the weekend. But everywhere you look in here, there's empty buildings. So we're going to see exactly how bad.
Oh, yeah, it's closed.
Okay, so yeah, Ashley just pointed out that the restaurant is closed. That's definitely a bad sign.
So it looks like they closed during COVID and they never came back.
So this restaurant has been closed for close to 4 years now. It'll be interesting to see exactly how many stores are left in here. And that entrance over there would definitely take you to one of the anchor stores inside the mall. So ironically enough, as we're walking through the Twin Pines Mall,
Wow, look at
Hollister and Company is
closed.
long gone. Hollister and Company, to me, always had one of the best mall entrances. I mean, it feels like
And it
you're
always
going.
smelled so good
Yeah, it
in
did.
there.
It smelled good. Looks like you're going into like a cabana house or something. It was really
Surf
cool.
shop.
Yeah, surf shop. Hollister's long gone. But straight ahead, there is still an active AMC movie theater. And if I come right here, here's the sign for the Twin Pines Mall. However, the clock is not actively working right now. I've seen numerous videos where this seems to be a reoccurring issue where the clock never seems to be lit up when people come visit this mall. However, I have seen a few videos where the clock was actively working. So I don't know if there's a malfunction with the clock or they're maybe just powering it off to save on electricity since there's not many tenants paying rent right now at the mall. But it is cool seeing that in person. The Twin Pines Mall, where Marty McFly and Doc Brown started their time travel in the DeLorean almost 40 years ago. We're coming up on the 40th anniversary next year of Back to the Future, seeing that it was released in 1985, and here we are getting very close to 2025. They do still have the little novelty kid rides that you can ride on. Some of these look like they could possibly be left over from the 80s because they definitely have the retro vibes going on with this. Here's the Plucky Duck machine. This is probably one of the most dead malls I have ever seen, and I've documented a few of these back home in North Carolina. But this one probably is the worst of the worst, seeing how big and popular it is.
It seems like a lot of people will come here just to walk and hang out, but if you notice, it's very stuffy in here. The
It is
air
very stuffy in
isn't
here.
on like full blast.
I would imagine they're turning the air down low because they want to save on electricity, because when you have more
Hey, like
money,
you always say, there's a jewelry store, there's Daniel's,
yeah, there's
and they're
always,
80% off.
in any dying mall, the only things that are always left seems to be a Hot Topic, a GNC, a jewelry store, a Bath and Body Works, and possibly a Chinese restaurant.
This way is Sears, but of course we know Sears is no
Yeah,
longer.
Sears was another one of the anchor stores that no doubt was here in 1985. Forever 21, another huge mall retail store, long gone. It's just like every end of this mall you travel down just leads to dead ends because it's empty everywhere. Ironically enough, there's a watch shop over here called Tick Time. No pun intended with time and going back to the future. So there's none of the kiosks are even lit up. This should be a digital kiosk, but it's not even lit up right now. So looks like they've basically turned off everything they can go without to save on electricity around here. I'm sure you won't hear it, but because there's lack of people in here, the music seems excessively loud
Very
because
loud.
normally it would be drowned out by the sound of the hustle and bustle of shoppers, but on a Sunday afternoon, there's absolutely really no shoppers in this mall. I guess we can go up the second floor and see if it's just as bad as the first story. So there's one active store still. There's Champs. There's a store closing over here.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, look at this. Ashley just noticed there's Santa.
$29.99.
This is leftover merchandise from what appears to be at one time. Here's Santa, and here's an elf. So here's the question. Is this a leftover defunct Christmas store, or are they getting ready to open for Christmas in July? I'm going to say it's probably leftover merchandise, and they left over a lot of merchandise. If we look inside here, there's glitter name keychains, as well as some t-shirts. Looks like they did, however, sell out of the Thai Beanie Babies. If they were selling Beanie Babies, how
That's
long ago
old.
was this?
Old.
Because Beanie Babies haven't been a thing for a long time.
Yeah,
Look.
this place is closing.
Yeah, there's a store over here, store closing. Everything must go.
They've got some horror Funkos in there.
Chucky, what's it like hanging out at the Back to the Future mall that's on life support?
Well, you know, Tiff stops by every once in a while, and it's not too bad. It's not too terrible.
All right, so we decided to come into this store that's going out of business, and I think these are a little bit bigger than the ones that you can buy at Spencer's and Spirit Halloween. But Seed of Chucky is $600. Standard Good Guy is $500. Tiffany is 1 cent cheaper at $4.99. But I don't think they're going to move these
No,
at this
but
price.
look at that in the corner.
This is probably one of the biggest pieces I've ever seen. $700 for this huge Pennywise. And we were just talking about this yesterday. There's actually a Living Dead Dolls Elvira. A Living Dead Dolls Elvira.
Oh, that's cool.
I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool.
Is that Chucky? Is that a girl? She's got long hair. That's
No, what's up with Chucky's
unusual.
hair there? Yeah, I've never seen that before. But this is basically stuff that you can just find any day of the week at FYE, Target, Walmart, besides the Living Dead Dolls Elvira.
But those are cool. Those big.
Look at Pennywise's teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And Ghostface, of course, also. But again, look at that huge Pennywise for $700. Would you want to take him home?
And it does look like they do still have an active bowling alley, but for the most part, it is very dead in here. Like, we're not really even seeing a lot of people walking around.
No. And you would think on a Sunday, this is when shoppers would be out and about, coming to spend money, but it's bad. I think this is happening to malls all across America, shopping malls with the increased deals that you can find online. They just can't compete anymore.
Look at this. This is like bad, super bad.
This is the second story. So we're on the second story, and I guess this is showing you pictures of what a mall could look like. However, it ain't this mall. I think this mall's better days are far, far behind it, because this is the second level of the mall, and everywhere we look, constantly, store after store, closed. I think maybe the second story has a few more active retail stores than the first level, but it's still not really any better. Headquarters for prom. I don't think anybody cares anymore. If you look down here at how old this phone book looks, can we find a year on this phone book? Trying to see a year on
I
there.
don't know, but look at this sign. It's completely faded, so who knows how long it's been there.
And suits used to be $39.95. What do you think a tuxedo would cost in 2024?
A lot more, probably double the price.
Not $39.95.
It's like they just left everything.
Yeah, why
and-
would they just leave their
Yeah, because
inventory
look
behind?
I think it closed during COVID because there's signs about COVID. That's what
Oh,
really
yeah. COVID-19.
ruined this mall was COVID.
Holiday hours. So yeah, the last time they were open, I see it right there. It was 12/17/22. So the last time this store was active was 2 years ago, and they just decided, hey, we're gonna leave the merchandise here. We're out. Across the hall, it's the same story. Empty retail stores. So here's the main lobby, if you will, for the Twin Pines Mall. Again, on a Sunday afternoon, you'll see a few people sporadically sitting around, but there should be tons of people walking back and forth with shopping bags, but it's literally a ghost town.
Yeah, as we approach the food court, there seems to be only one store open.
This is the first dead mall I've been into that the food court is actually dead. I think downstairs there is one place that people are eating at, and it seems to be Wetzel's Pretzels.
Yeah. Is
And
that a Wetzel's Pretzels? No, I don't think so. I think that's something else.
it had a sign that said Wetzel's Pretzels, I think.
Or Alpaca Cafe.
I swear I saw a Wetzel's Pretzels sign. I think all of them are out of business. The Tokyo Grill is gone, and you can see over here where they've put up the billboards. Once they start putting up the billboards and closing off the walls, that's it.
And here's where the AMC movie theater is. You access it from the first floor. But this is definitely probably the most active part of the mall. Lots of people coming to see movies, families.
And one thing I've learned, I would say that AMC probably does not even have a lease agreement with the mall, because most die-in malls, if they have a movie theater or a Target, they've purchased their own area because they already anticipate that the mall is going to most likely be torn down around them.
That makes sense.
So they probably own this area. But right now, this is probably all that's keeping foot traffic in this mall, is people coming to see movies and then doing a little bit of shopping at some of the stores that remain. But I don't think we're going to find... I just saw the Beetlejuice sign down there. That's pretty cool. You can have a photo op with Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I see that.
But I don't think we're going to see Back to the Future at this location today, but that is cool seeing Beetlejuice down there. So we're also going to work in a small Halloween hunt here at the mall, because Hot Topic is sometimes known to have Halloween and horror merchandise on the shelves. So there's Terrifier already. So we're going to go inside this Hot Topic, inside the Back to the Future Mall, and see if they have a possible Code Orange. Here's the Lost Boys down here also. So let's go inside. So doing a little bit of Halloween hunting at the Back to the Future Mall. Here's this good guy Chucky Funko Pop, where he's coming out of the jack-o'-lantern, as well as this Chucky also, where he's just kind of in all of his Halloween orange colors. And there's also plenty of Stranger Things Funko Pops, as well as this Scare Fair Sam exclusive. However, that was from 2023. However, so that's a little bit from last year. So that one's a little late to the dance, but there is Freddy Krueger also here as this Funko Pop. And then we also have the Looney Tunes Halloween collection also. You see Sylvester coming out of the jack-o'-lantern there as well. So yeah, there's definitely the Halloween themed Funkos that are already starting to hit the shelves here, but there's also this Halloween collection over here. You kind of see the Psycho t-shirts on display. You can see Mother prominently displayed right there on the front. And then you see Bates Motel and Psycho. Then you've got these cool jack-o'-lantern shoulder bags, or purses if you will, for $35. You've got this version right here, as well as this one that's got the ghost and the candy corn on it also. And then there's this little dashboard dancer of Ghostface, as well as some of these teddy bears and little squishy monsters. But they also have this cool, just no movie here, just a jack-o'-lantern. Oh, look at this. It's a creepy button-up shirt with a graveyard down here with the creepy Halloween tree in the background. And then we have Beetlejuice here also, as well as the Crow. Then we also have Terrifier. And we have Ghostface, as well as a few more Ghostface t-shirts down here as well. Cool Lost Boys tank top, as well as this Lost Boys zip-up hoodie. It's got the patches all over it. You can see Kiefer Sutherland back there on one of the patches. Then if we come over here to the t-shirt wall, there's this little ghost kind of just floating through outer space here. And then there's the Grim Reaper up here saying, "But you did this for what?" Then we also have this Ghostbusters t-shirt also with the mini puffed mayhem going on. Then if we come over here, there's plenty of Nightmare Before Christmas merchandise, as well as this little mini Ghostface bag. It's a very small bag, as well as some of these Nightmare tumblers, a Disney plush throw. Then here's like a varsity jacket from Nightmare Before Christmas. That's actually really cool. And then we've got this pullover hoodie here of Halloween Mickey Mouse, as well as this bag here that's got Jack and Sally on it. And I think this is, yeah, a makeup palette here, as well as a few other accessories here and there. Yep, here's the Mickey and Minnie Halloween fleece throw. So plenty of Halloween goodies already starting to hit the shelves inside of Hot Topic. So start checking your Hot Topic for Halloween goodies, because it's starting to hit also in the month of July. So they do have Five Nights at Freddy's merchandise also. You've got these little Freddy backpacks that come with the straps and everything. It's very 90s there, as well as a bunch of different Five Nights at Freddy's t-shirts. Then they've got some of these little plush Freddy's also, and a Five Nights at Freddy's tumbler. Then a few more over here, like here's like a journal kit from Five Nights at Freddy's, as well as these little Five Nights at Freddy's hand puppets, and some little mystery grab bags. See, I was talking about Wetzel's Pretzels on the first level. I don't know if this was Wetzel's Pretzels or not, but you can see this whole entire restaurant just cleared out. It's echoing in here because it's so empty right now. But this used to be an active restaurant at some point in time. If you know what it was, please sound off in the comments below. But whatever it is, it's long gone. All right, so that's going to wrap up our time here at the Twin Pines Mall in Southern California. Ashley started on this journey with me, but she hopped into the DeLorean. She traveled back to 1955, and she hasn't made it back just yet. So I don't know if she's coming back today or a few years from now. She could be in 1955 or 1985. Maybe we'll see her in the next video. But anyway, it was cool seeing the Twin Pines Mall, and even cooler doing a mini Halloween hunt at Hot Topic here inside the Back to the Future Mall. So if you like this type of content and you're new here, how about slashing that subscribe button and joining the club? And until next time, we'll see you on the dark side.